Welcome to Peacevision. We are a portal for positive change, and with me today is a really positive guy in terms of our oceans and trying to save them and the reefs. Please welcome David Guggenheim.
Thank you, John.
So, have you been underwater lately, and what's happening?
I wish I'd been underwater lately. I'm feeling a bit dry. No, it's been a few months, and I'm looking forward to getting back in the water.
And not that we'll get into it or share any medical information, but you are a survivor of COVID as well, correct?
Yeah, my whole family, my daughter is a nurse on the front lines in Miami. I'm very proud of her, but I think she was the cause. So, but we're all 100%. Yeah, I'll hold that over her head for a few years. But
well, the good thing is you can't prove it, so there you go.
That's right. That's right.
Anyway, we're going to move to coral reefs. And David, what's going on with our coral reefs, and what can we do to help out?
You know, I've heard coral reefs described as the most endangered animal on the planet. That may or may not be the case, but they're certainly up there. Coral is an animal, although it hosts an algae and it looks like a rock, but it's a living organism and it's in trouble. 50% of our corals in the Caribbean have disappeared since 1970. And when I say disappeared, I mean they've died, and they've died from a number of causes. And of course, all those causes relate to us human beings.
How did you first get into it, and what was your fascination with the ocean and really studying this, because you've done this all of your life?
I grew up in Philadelphia, which, you know, the cliche is we all go to the Jersey Shore in the summertime, and my dad was a fisherman. He loved to fish, and I loved to fish with him. It was where I fell in love with the oceans, but I was fascinated with what was under the ocean. And I was of the generation that watched Sea Hunt, Lloyd Bridges in Sea Hunt. So I wanted to be the tough guy like him, exploring this strange new world underwater.
The knife in your mouth down the beach, right?
That's right. So for my 15th birthday, I asked my parents, can I have scuba diving lessons? They obliged me, and one thing led to another. I ended up at a marine science camp, sea camp in the Florida Keys, and came face to face with a coral reef for the first time. And it really struck me as a 15-year-old. It was profoundly moving. I saw this whole civilization underwater that I never knew existed. It was colorful, it was exuberant, it was just incredible to me.
And when the reef disappears, what does that mean for everything else? Like, why is that so important for us to be concerned about this loss of reef that you've seen?
The corals themselves are important for things like tourism. They're pretty. They bring in billions of dollars in tourist dollars per year for us. But beyond that, they host one of the most complex organisms on Earth. They've been described as the rainforests of the sea. And they are where millions of species of other organisms, an area that they depend on in the ocean. So even though there may be 1,000 species of corals worldwide, they are responsible for the life of millions of other species, many of them very rare. And some of those species we love to eat. So if you like to eat grouper and snapper and any of those, just about any of those fish in the tropics or subtropics, certainly in Florida, that you that you find on your dinner plate, chances are they are very dependent on the health of coral reefs. The other thing about coral reefs is that they protect us. They protect the shore against hurricanes, and it's estimated that corals absorb about 97% of wave energy, which is incredible. And if you think about the cost of building flood control structures and seawalls, it's a much more economical proposition to protect and restore coral reefs.
And then The other really fascinating thing that you've done is work closely with the people in Cuba, correct?
It's now 20 years. Hard to believe. I've been working in Cuba for 20 years. One of the most unexpected turns of my career, but also one of the most gratifying.
David, we're going to keep it short because we're going to come back to you and we're going to interview you more about your adventures in Cuba and also find out about the new book that you've got coming out. And thank you so much for being with us today, David, and all that you do to protect our environment. We thank you.
Always great to be with you, John. Thanks.